Hey everybody, welcome back to the MacWhisperer Academy. I'm Dylan Stewart. They call me the MacWhisperer. And if you love music like I do, and you want to learn how to play it easier, how to find the songs you're looking for, and how to really get the most out of the Apple Music app, then this lesson is just for you. Let's hop on in and get started. Apple computers have always been tied together with music. You know, one of the very first lawsuits Apple ever had to push through was the right to use the Apple logo, which conflicted with the Beatles' Apple logo. And when music went digital, Apple was right there at the forefront. They created the iPod, which changed everything, and iTunes, which became the model for digital music software for decades. But recently, everything's gotten so much more complicated. The iTunes store isn't the only kid at the party anymore. And people don't just want to buy songs and albums, they want to stream them. They want to create custom-made playlists. They want all the music in the entire world for one tiny monthly price. Apple was happy to oblige, creating Apple Music. But unfortunately, in doing that, they changed the way iTunes worked and looked and confused it for everyone. So in this lesson, I want to help you fall back in love with iTunes, no matter what Apple's deciding to call it these days. So without further ado, let's jump on over to the computer. Let's open up the Music app. It looks like this down here. I'm going to go ahead and click it and open it up. The first thing I want you to look at is the far left sidebar. You're going to see separate sections there. We've got the Apple Music section. We've got the library. We've got the store, and we've got our playlists. Now at the top, you see Apple Music. Apple Music is a fantastic service that Apple provides. For $10 a month for an individual account or $15 a month for a family account, you have access to every song in the iTunes library, millions and millions of songs and custom created playlists and automatic radio stations and so much more. We're not going to dive into Apple Music in this lesson, but I'm an Apple Music subscriber and I love it. I do know that it's not a perfect fit for everyone. So this lesson is going to focus on using music that you've already got in your library and learning how to organize that. And we'll talk about Apple Music more in the next video. In the library section, you're going to see a bunch of different options. You're going to see your recently added section, which shows whatever songs you've recently added. You're also going to see artists, albums, songs, and music videos. We're going to start by taking a look at the artist's view. In this section, we see all of the artists for all of our songs on the left in a long list like this. And if we click on any one of those artists, to the right, we'll find their albums. Their albums are generally going to be organized alphabetically. But if you don't like that organization, you can always click on the View menu and sort the albums in a different way. This makes it easy to go into one particular artist and listen to any of their albums, any of their songs, or all of them if you like. One of the things that a lot of people misunderstand about this section is if you want to find a particular artist, you don't have to scroll for it, and you don't want to go into the search window over here because that suddenly looks for it everywhere in your library, in Apple Music, in the store. All you want to do is click where it says All Artists at the top and start typing the name of the artist you want. In this case, I'm going to type Bob Dylan. And it jumps me right to it. So there's really no need to search around. If I want to hear the Eurythmics, just a couple of letter clicks, and I'm right into it, and I can get to any of their albums on the right-hand side. The artist view is most helpful if you want to play a lot of songs from one artist. But maybe you prefer to play a full album. In which case, let's switch over to the albums view on the left side here. The album view is a very visual view. It showcases the album artwork. This view is sorted by the artist's name first, and then the album name. But as you scroll through it, you're going to see all these artists all organized alphabetically. Now, it's pretty nice and fun to look at. But if you're like me and you have thousands of albums, 7,000 in this list, this is really hard to use. It's just a lot of scrolling, and I don't always know what album a particular song was on. Now, it's great if I want to hear that one album I like, but it's not my favorite view. The artist view is cool and all, and the albums view is really pretty and fun to scroll through. But neither of them work for me most of the time. I've got too many songs, too many albums, too many desires to pull things together quickly, which is why I use the songs view almost exclusively. And I want to show you guys how to use it properly. So let's start by clicking on the songs view on the left here. Now, at first glance, the songs layout may seem primitive and bland. It's just an alphabetical list of every song in your library. And you can sort it in a couple of different ways right here, by artist, or by album, or by the title of the song, which is really not that helpful. But the most valuable way to use the songs playlist is to revert it to the way iTunes used to look, which is done by going to the View menu here, clicking on Column Browser, and showing it. You see, the Column Browser was an easy way to navigate through your entire library. Back in the day, iTunes only had this one view, and it's all we needed. And it's still the only view you really need. And the reason is because this bar across the top allows you to quickly select any genre, or any artist, or any album, easily, simply. And as we discussed before, if you click on the All section for either the genres, the artists, or the albums, and you start typing, it'll jump you right to that person. So, for example, if I want to find my holiday music, I can click on the All Genre section and just start typing holiday, and it will immediately highlight my holiday music. Now, once you start filtering things with the column browser, the results in the artists and albums column change as well. So when I pick holiday, there are fewer artists. There are fewer albums. Let's go ahead and reset the genres by clicking at the top up here so that we're in all genres. And let's go over to artists and let's choose Bob Dylan. So once I've selected a specific artist, to the right side, you're going to see all of their albums. And beneath you, you're going to see all of the songs of all of their albums. But if you want to find a specific album, all you have to do is search for it over here, either by scrolling or by typing it in. In this case, let's see what's on the Blonde on Blonde album. As I click it, I see all the songs down below. Now, in most cases, when I'm listening to an album, I want to hear it in the order that the artist put it in. But unfortunately, I don't have the track number view in this particular column. So if you can't find a specific way of sorting that you like, click on the View menu up here, go to View Options right here, and it'll show you a listing of a ton of other categories that you can add in to sort by. In my case, I just need to turn on track number here. And now over to the right, it shows the track numbers and the order these songs were meant to be heard on the album. But through this way, I can play one song, all songs, I can shuffle this album, or I can play it in order. Let's hop over to the Beatles. One of the best things about the column view is how it shows everything beneath it. Because when you're in the artist's view or the album view, you have to remember what album that song was on. So if I say, I want to hear the Beatles song Mean Mr. Mustard, I don't remember what album that's on. But in this view, I can see all the songs in order, and I can go right in and sort by title and just take myself down to the M's and find it right there. Oh, it's on Abbey Road. I'll remember that next time. You see, the problem with music is you usually remember the song. Sometimes you remember the album. Hopefully you remember the artist. At any rate, that's the way I use the column browser to find a specific song or artist. But the other use for the column browser is to easily create a playlist. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Let's say that we want to make a playlist of some classic rock songs. And since we're in the Beatles, we'll go ahead and start. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to grab a couple of my favorite songs. Let's go ahead, let's grab Let It Be. Now, as you pick the songs, I want you to hold the Command button down on your keyboard because that will allow you to select more than one song at a time. So here we've got Let It Be. I've got the Command button. Let's choose Love Me Do, and let's choose Norwegian Wood. Now, once I've got those songs selected, I can right-click and I can add them to an existing playlist or create a new playlist. If you already have a playlist and you can see it over to the left, you can also drag those songs into there. In this case, I don't have this playlist, so let's create it. Add to playlist, new playlist. It opens up. We're going to call this playlist Classic Rock, just like that. And if I look on the left side, I can see it right there alphabetically with my other playlists. Now, I can come back to my songs view and I can get out of the Beatles, and let's say we want Eric Clapton. Let's say I want All Your Love, Badge, and of course, Wonderful Tonight. Right-click on it, add to playlist, pop it right into my classic rock playlist, and I'm done. Or again, I can still drag it over. You can even use your column browser here to select multiple artists at a time. And I want to see songs by ABBA, AC/DC, and Adam Ant. By holding down the command button, I'm able to select all three of those, and now I can come in and I can grab Mamma Mia and Money, Money, Money and One of Us and right-click and put them into the last playlist, Classic Rock, just like that, easily. You can also use the genre section to quickly fill a playlist, but unfortunately, most people have not properly curated their genre section, which we're going to discuss more in a moment. Now, I'm going to talk about playlists for just a minute. You see, playlists show up on the left-hand side here in alphabetical order. If you have a ton of playlists, you can organize them by going up to the File menu here and creating a playlist folder. A playlist folder allows you to take a number of playlists and compile them together so that you're not constantly scrolling up and down. You see, in my opinion, most people have way too many playlists. And they really should do a cleanup so they're not having to fight to find things. But at least with playlist folders, you can consolidate and organize them into a few sections rather than hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of playlists. In a future lesson, I'm going to show you a lot more about how to get the most out of your playlists, but that's all we're going to talk about today. The last part of today's lesson harkens back to what we were just discussing about genres. You see, most people have never edited, cleaned up, or fixed up their library. This means they may have artists with incorrect information, like the Beatles and Beatles, the. They might also have numerous genres that are actually the same kind of music. But what's cool is that you can overwrite the music publisher's decisions, and you can clean up your library for yourself. So as I scroll through genres, I want you to look at electronica, okay? We've got electronic. We've got electro hip hop, we've got electronic, we've got electronic techno, electronica and dance, electronica/dance, and Euro techno. Guess what? It's all electronica to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of these genres. To do that, I'm going to click on the first one and hold down my command button while I click on the other ones like this. Boom, 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 boom. So now I've selected all of these genres and I'm going to get info on them. The easiest way to get info is to use the key code Command plus I. So let's go Command I. It's going to ask me if I'm sure I want to edit multiple items, and the answer is yeah. That's why I said to edit them. It pulls up a window like this, where you can choose any of the information contained within this music. Now, I don't want to change the artist or the album because they're all different artists, but I do want to come down to genre. You see where it says mixed here? It's not mixed. Now, you can do it in a couple of different ways. You can click here and you can start typing, and it will autofill based on what you're typing, or you can click the little arrow to the right and you can choose from the existing list. I usually choose from the list unless I'm creating a brand new genre. In this case, I'm just going to call this electronica, and I'm going to click OK. Now look, all those things are in one place. And you can use the same trick to change or clean up artists whose names have slightly different names, even though they're actually the same person. And you can just come right in, select both of them, Command I, edit them, and you can change it so that the artist is the same name, and it can clean up that way as well. The last thing we're going to talk about is going to take place over in the artists section over here. So I'm going to click on artists, and I'm going to go up to the very, very top, and you've got this section called compilations. The idea is that if you have an album with multiple artists on it, It doesn't go under a specific artist. It goes in the compilation section, which is fine if it's a greatest hits of the 80s, but it's not fine if it's a specific album by a specific person. For example, as we scroll through here, we're going to see there's an REM album that's just REM. Why is it in the compilation section? It's not a compilation. So what you can easily do is come in and get info on that particular album. And you'll notice that there's a little button down here that says compilation, and you can uncheck that and it will move it into the artist section instead of leaving it in the compilation section. Now, it may seem like a lot of work to clean up this library, and most people might say, Dylan, I'll just search. I don't need to have a clean, organized library. Why does it matter? And I'll tell you, by doing a basic cleanup of your music library, you can easily play any artist you want. Create simple playlists effortlessly, and set yourself up for an awesome dinner party playlist without taking hours and hours to do it. And most importantly, I use my phone almost exclusively for listening to music. But because I've cleaned it up on the computer, because I've done it here and made it more organized here, it's so easy for me to use it even by voice. So this is just the first of many Apple Music videos I'll be creating. In the future videos, I'm going to teach you how to make amazing playlists easily, how to discover new music effortlessly, how to get the most out of your Apple Music subscription, and how to get Siri to do all the dirty work when you want to listen to music, add songs to playlists, and more. But it all comes from the foundation of understanding how to get around on the Apple Music app yourself and how to have a clean, organized library so that you can always find what you're looking for. So that's today's lesson. If you got great value out of what you learned today, hit that thumbs up button so that other people can find this video easily. And if you've got questions, comments, or anything that I left out, just drop it in the comment section. I love reading those comments and responding back to each and every one of you. As always, I'm Dylan Stewart, the MacWhisperer, and it's my passion and profession to help you get more done in less time and with less effort on all of your Apple devices than you ever thought possible. And with that said, I'll see you at the next lesson.